that not all households are homes. Making a family in this dynamic era can quite be challenging. You know what I'm talking about. Church of Uganda Family TV brings you the Family Talk Show every Friday, where we host different people to share their experience, their knowledge, and counsel on how we can collectively build strong families. Be sure to watch with me, your host, Clare Bwenje, Family Talk Show. Benjamin Franklin once said that by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Well, if you don't want to fail in your marriage, then you ought to prepare before you get in there. Hi dear viewer, my name is Clare Bwenje and this is the Family Talk Show here at Church of Uganda Family TV. Today our topic is Before You Say I Do. And to discuss this evening is a great couple. They are already here. And before I bring them on board, let me welcome them and also introduce them to you. Well, they are none other than Mr. Moses Bagyendera. Mr. Moses Bagyendera is a Ph.D. candidate in digital health, together with his dear wife, Dr. Julian Bagyendera. She heads a consultancy firm, Provide and Equip. Ladies and gentlemen out there, please join me welcome these great people in the studio. You are most welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure and a joy to have you here. Please say hello to our viewers and then we quickly dig into this.
Good evening, viewers. Thank you very much for hosting us, Clare, on Family TV.
You're welcome.
It's a blessing to be here this evening to talk about marriage. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, good evening, viewers. I'm Julian Bagyendera, Executive Director, Provide and Equip Consultancy firm. We are happy to be here.
Wow, we are also happy to have you here.
Been married for only 27 years.
Ooh, only 27 years.
We are blessed with 3 children,
wow.
2 adults and one teenager.
Wow, that's a joy. Indeed, God has done amazing things in your family, yeah? Only 27 years and, 3 amazing children. To God be the glory. Well, straight into our topic this evening. Like, it is before you say I do. Mm-hmm. And, of course, viewers would want to know a few things about this topic this evening. And you are the right people to share this today. Yeah. So, is it important to go through premarital counseling? And if yes, how important is it?
Yes, Claire, it is very, very important. And, on a wedding day, people want to prepare for the actual reception and the church, how they will appear, the food they will eat, the dressing, the gowns, but no one talks about the journey. So premarital counseling is crucial, very critical to prepare you for the journey you're going to take. We normally say, until death do us part. It's a long journey.
Of course. So
in premarital counseling, we prepare people on how to understand one another. Whom are you going to be married to? They have different backgrounds. How was he raised? What kind of family is he from? What have you learned even from your own parents? You who is going to get married, what do you appreciate about how your dad treated your mom? How your mom did the same? The community, the way you were raised. So you talk about even expectations. You must have expectations. Oh, this is covered in premarital counseling. And also family history. One of the greatest things that we do is even to do what we call purity covenant.
Wow.
Purity covenant is, these days people say, I have to taste, you have to know what you're taking. But we encourage people to know that they have to go into marriage when they are pure.
Pure, yes.
When they have not known one another. When they have not slept together as husband and wife. So we take them through that. But also in case they have done it, we lead them into repentance, know that what they did was not right, and God can actually restore them. But also, we cover things like why marriage? Many people are going to marry, but they don't know why marriage, why are you getting married, why now? Also, to know that actually marriage is God's idea. God made it. We normally talk about 1 + 1 is 1. Is that right, math? Maybe not. But with God, it is 1. It is very, very important to know how about communication. How would you communicate? If you're raised in a family where there was no communication, where people shout, where there was abuse, where it was one-sided, where your mom never said anything, we need to learn communication. How do you communicate with a spouse?
Communicate,
clearly. And also, how do you resolve conflict? Conflict techniques.
Oh, that one.
Huh?
Yes.
When you're angry, you just
slap. Do you
shout?
I think that is a very good thing.
People should be prepared to know how to communicate with one another. You don't see people in the office slapping one another when they disagree. People disagree, and they
find ways to resolve
a conflict. But also, marriage is not just between a husband and wife. It is a family thing, so it's a community thing. How do you relate with the in-laws?
True.
Sometimes you come when actually you didn't get a good welcome. They wanted maybe the son to get married to a certain tribe, and you've been married to another tribe, which they may not necessarily appreciate. And you come knowing that. So how do you relate with these in-laws? Yeah, sometimes you need extra grace to relate to your mother-in-law or to your father-in-law.
Yeah.
So they are prepared. Couples are prepared to do all this in marriage before. But also, how to handle finances, money. You've been earning money. If you hear people saying my car, my money, my shop, my bed. So now you are entering into our business.
Yeah.
So everything is our now.
It's our.
So how do you manage?
The I dies there and then.
Money.
Exactly.
Maybe you grow up, you didn't see your dad sharing money with your mom. So how are you going to bring this into marriage? Are you going to hide? So we talk about money management. Are you going to be indebted? These days we hear people say there are loans for the wedding. Are you going to marriage on a loan? So we prepare people to do simple weddings, but within manageable
within their means
budgets. So finance management is very important. How are you going to transparency with money? How are you going to handle accounts? Are you going to have joint? Are you going to have individual accounts?
Wow.
Are you going to share ATMs? All that is very important. But also we do roles and responsibilities of husband and wife. We call it moving beyond cultural stereotypes. Yeah. What are the roles of a husband in northern Uganda? The roles of a husband in Karamoja.
You mean they differ?
The role of a husband in Kisoro or Kabale.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Do they differ?
Cultures are different.
Oh.
Cultures are different. There are cultures where they say a man never goes to a kitchen. And maybe you grew up, you've never seen your dad wash a saucepan, or peel a banana, or even cook, or bathe a baby. So people should be prepared about the roles. But also, you also know that the Bible says a man is the high priest. You are the provider.
Exactly.
Yeah? You make sure your family prays, children go to church, Sunday school. But even when there is a conflict, you initiate conflict resolution. So all these roles. And a wife, what is her role as a wife? A homemaker. The Bible talks about Proverbs that one woman who also does something. So people should be prepared to do all these things. But again, there's also intimacy. You don't take it for granted that everyone knows intimacy. We call it sexual communication. How do you handle a husband? How do you handle a wife on that wedding night? So it is very, very critical that people are given time to prepare, not a one-off but they go through months of preparation. Because marriage is not an event. It's a process.
It's a process, and
it takes long. Thank you.
It really takes long. And thank you very much for sharing. Julian, would you say, just from what Moses is sharing, it's a lot that you prepare these couples in, a lot of areas. So would you think, just a by the way question, would you think if someone didn't go through this, their marriages would struggle a bit?
Yeah, good question. Actually, previously, for many years, the counseling was not very systematic and the curriculum was not detailed and developed. But then we realized that usually when you just go for wedding, the priest may choose to talk on one topic or two. But then there are these other topics. Managing money, you did not know money could be a monster, you know. But when you are comprehensively prepared and taken through, then you are able to build a firm foundation. You start from the know. And especially if you missed that background, maybe where you grew up, you did not have a good model couple, you know, then you start now knocking each other, saying, oh, I thought he loved me. Yes, he does, but you are not prepared, or you're just bumping into things. So it helps you to start on a good note and build a firm foundation for this beautiful journey that you're going to start. For instance, you mentioned conflict. You know, usually we have this fantasy, you get married and be happy thereafter, and you do not expect a conflict. So when the first conflict comes, you get shocked. You're like, is this the woman I married? Is this the man, you know? But once you're prepared and you know, yes, they may come, but how do we resolve them without destroying each other, you know? So it helps you to sail through the storm safely than someone who is not prepared. They usually crash or they drown. But for you, you know, okay, now I need to put some brakes, I need to dim my lights here, you know how to move on and handle things. And the bed issue you talked about being prepared. In most cases, our culture assumes that men know. But from my experience, you'll find that many men just knock on the job and they think they know, and they leave the ladies when they are really dissatisfied. So it's very important to get prepared so that you're ready for the journey.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, what you're talking about, it is really, really important. And in my head, I'm thinking every unmarried person there needs this counseling session.
True.
But who does this? Just, it got me thinking, is it a role of a church? Is it a professional counselor? Who does the training and all that? And how can you help someone there who doesn't know about premarital? How do they get this?
Yeah, from the church, we go to St. Francis Chapel, Clare University. At St. Francis Chapel, we have counselors. We do one-to-one counseling. We don't do we do a couple-to-couple counseling. A couple is assigned another couple to counsel, and they take them through some months, even 2 to 3 months, or even longer.
Wow!
I remember there's a couple we've just concluded. We counseled them for a whole year,
and even had sessions with their parents.
Wow!
To be sure they are ready to release.
I think that is a very very good thing, to be prepared.
But there are churches that do group counseling. But you might find that when you do that, people may not ask deep questions. It could be just like a wholesale counseling, whereby not in detail. If you have challenges, you might fear talking about. If you're abused, you may fear talking about in a group. If you're not sure, you know, you can come for counseling when you're not sure.
Yes.
You may say, what people say when I begin talking about, I'm not very sure whether this is the right man. But when it's one-on-one, you're able to do that. And even if you have not done counseling and you're married, you can actually do. You can redo. But there are people who have also gone ahead to seek professional counselors. We have them in town who can also take you through premarital counseling. The priests do that, the pastors do that, the different religious leaders do that. There are also couples that you admire that you can approach and say, can you walk with me this journey of marriage? You are learning from them and you talk through things and you're able to progress.
Wow. So would you say that if someone has not gone through this premarital counseling, they're not ready for marriage?
I would say you will knock.
You'll knock, exactly.
You will knock, because you're going to find challenges in marriage. You know, marriage, it is you get married and you begin the journey. You find that you find challenges that you didn't discuss. Maybe you never talked about expectations, and your friend has expectations, you don't know them. You begin guessing, you begin even conflicting. So if you do premarital counseling, it prepares you for the journey. But if you just go into marriage, you are going to have a lot of knocks.
Exactly.
It will work, but it will take God's grace.
Yeah. Takes back to the quoting I started with. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail.
Yes.
Wow, thank you very much. So what are some of the false beliefs that couples have towards marriage?
Yeah, there are a number of beliefs that we get, especially from the communities we grow up in. Some of them are, I know some culture where they say, you speak once, I speak twice. That is the man. So that the lady are not supposed to speak as much as the man. Oh. So there are some of those myths. Another common myth is that the marital bed is mainly for the man. It is not for you, just do for him what he wants, you know. They don't prepare the lady and don't make her anticipate maybe to enjoy the marriage. It's like you're doing a service or an obligation. That's why many people start dreading such things. Yes, there are also, a number of myths like I talked about.
You can also add on the people don't want to share income.
Never reveal your income
to your wife.
Or at least basic salary, but you hide the allowances, you know. Some of those. Or if you marry an educated woman, like they said, I have a Ph.D. Some people worry so much. Oh, someone is earning this. Jakujoga, that one is not going to cooperate with your leadership. So there are some of those myths that we need to demystify, especially in this era where women are getting educated as well as men. So how do you relate so that you keep the marriage going?
Yes. There's also some cultures where they say a man should never apologize. Okay? I will apologize by giving a gift, but I will not verbalize it. That is a myth. We are supposed to apologize because we err. But you've also heard where they say occasionally slap her.
Really?
Yeah, occasionally slap her.
Really?
It is wrong.
That's not nice.
That's violence. But you see, as you grow up, you hear all these myths that men used to do, which is not right, which is ungodly, and which is not Christian. Yes.
Wow. So what you're talking about, these myths, these false beliefs, how can they come to an end?
Through premarital counseling, getting the right information and also understands God's purpose for marriage.
Exactly.
Yes, once you understand God's purpose for marriage and what you're there for, and even your relationship, so that you know, I'm marrying a friend. Imagine you choose the man you like most or the lady you like most out of all the many. So how do you want to treat her? Once you get to know your purpose, then you're really able to treat them the right way, or do your role as a wife as you should.
Wow, actually, Julian, you've now cornered yourself. What is God's purpose for marriage?
Yes, God's purpose for marriage, I can summarize it into 3. The first one is mirroring God's image. The first purpose is that whatever we are doing in our marriage, those who look at us, we may be the only Bible they are reading.
Exactly.
So that they say, wow, if a Christian couple is like this or they live like this, I want to be
like that.
Like so and so. So we are mirroring God's image. And then secondly, we are multiplying a godly legacy. Most people make a mistake. You want to produce many, but then they at whom it may concern. You don't have time to take them to church, to Sunday school. You don't teach them values. For you are just feeding the earth, because the Bible says, feed the earth. But we are supposed to produce a godly legacy, impart in them godly values, which they can take on to the next generation. And then companionship. You are supposed to be companions. You complement each other in that companionship. Be friends. That's why it's important to marry someone who can be your friend. Like we told you that we have 2 adult children and 1 teenager. We are left with 1 child. We are counting years that she'll be out. So imagine they are all gone and we are just the 2 of us. Empty nest. We call that empty nest. So it's very important that you become friends and provide that companion. That friend, you should be able to discuss and talk things, emotions. What did you go through? Maybe you were not treated well at work, so that, someone can listen to you, share with you. If you're going through challenges, and yes, men, it is okay to share with your spouse. If you're having challenges at work, I know some who even lose a job, but they keep pretending for months, coming to town, dress up, because you don't want the wife to know you are not employed. Yet if she knew, maybe she would support you better. She would know you need some transport and even know how to pray with you. True. So it's very important that there is that companionship, and within that companionship, it means really you are even complementing each other. Where he is weak, I fill the gap. Where I am weak, he fills the gap, so that you are not like either criticizing each other, but you are saying that, okay, this is now my purpose. I'm here to fill in this gap within this marriage.
Wow. Do you have something to add, Moses?
I think it is very, very important to marry a friend. When we got married, on that
the
night,
eye dies, eh?
when we got married, I gave a speech that I thank God I've married Julian, who is my friend, and she's been my friend. When someone is your friend, you talk at the friend level. You're able to understand each other. A friend will stand with you when things are good and when things are bad. When you are on the mountain or at the bottom of the mountain. So it is very, very important to make your spouse your friend. Actually, marry a friend. Why should you marry someone you don't know? And many people have married people they don't talk to. You've seen many couples, there's nothing to talk about. So marry someone you can speak anything. People you met, books you're reading, challenges, borders, travel, all that. But you have someone to talk to and share at the friend level, deeply. But even where you are able to share a weakness, what you're going through, for example, as a man, are you being challenged? Are you being attracted maybe to some other people? If she's your friend, you'll be able to say, pray for me.
That's hard paper.
Yes, but we are humans. We talk about it so that
I'm
we
struggling
support.
with Clare. I work with her,
Yes.
but I'm having these feelings. Pray
Yes.
for me.
If I'm being attracted to Claire,
Oh my God.
then I should be
I
able
pray
to say,
that
my friend,
that story
pray
goes
for
well.
me, so
Oh my
that
God.
I don't fall. But also a friend is able to give you a soft landing when you're falling. Okay? You don't condemn, you rebuild, you forgive, and then you continue the journey until death do us part. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, that is really nice, but there is a scaring bit of oh my, that's a hard paper.
Yeah, that's marriage.
Indeed, that's marriage. Well, we often hear engagement. People talk about, I'm engaged to this, engagement that. So what is this engagement whole thing about?
Yes, I think engagement is when someone has declared the intention. That someone is saying he has declared the intention that we start the journey of marriage before the actual day. That's the time when actually you are still studying one another. You may not know much, but you are studying one another. And that's why we bring in the issue of premarital counseling. Because you are opening up, he's your friend, you're discovering a lot. You've been attracted. we normally ask what attracted you to each other.
That's a
What
famous
attracted
question.
you before you come to know the character, the where she comes from. Something must have attracted you to each other. So it's very, very important to keep that. But normally that time is when someone has declared acceptance of marriage proposal. We normally say propose. Someone has proposed, and before the wedding. It is a learning process. It is time to study one another.
Wow.
Yes, if I may add, so you have made a commitment, the intentions. Someone says they launch the manifesto, and maybe you say yes. You have, so between this and marriage, this commitment and marriage, that is the engagement, and that period is crucial because one, it gives you an opportunity to study each other in detail. Understand each other more, discuss your plans. Where do you want to build a home? How many children do you want to have? What are the plans? Maybe when you even start projecting, maybe in 2 years' time, we should do this. Maybe have a wedding, then later we are able to do ABC. So it helps you to know each other a bit more and understand each other. And it is also a time of preparing for marriage. You now have time to explore more about the sexual part, so that you are ready for that. It prepares you. And by the way, it's declaration to the public. So that's why even in churches they announce, by the way, before you wed. So that, people know that, yes, you have these intentions. That reminds me, when we were at the university, there are many benchers. Boys who would come to bench, we would call them benchers. And so when we got engaged, I would put his picture on the first page of the album, so that these boys who are disturbing, when they come and you give them an album and they say, hey, seems this one is with so and so. There's even one time his friend told him, if you dare pretend to live for just one day, you will see what we do, like to leave the relationship. It's like they were waiting for him to give up, then they come on. And it's interesting that man is he's still his friend.
Wow.
So you're looking forward, you're preparing, you're studying each other, your families are getting to know you, and then, of course, you praying for the journey now. The marriage journey that you're going to
I think that is very important, last but very important, praying for the journey. We need to pray for this, for where we are headed. It's really important. And as you were sharing, we realize it's more than just an engagement ring. People go around saying, we are engaged because of the ring they have, engagement ring. But from your sharing, it shows that it's more than that. Bagyenderas. Thank you. Bagyenderas, and we are discussing before you say I do. In case you just joined in, please settle in. It is a good topic. Well, back to you, the Bagyenderas. I need lessons for that name. It's a nice one. So what boundaries can one establish as Christians to keep themselves pure through dating?
Yes, let me take it first. When you're dating, the purpose is to protect each other. That is the purpose for boundaries, for setting boundaries. Because when, like he said, usually you marry someone, you should marry someone you're attracted to. And that includes the sexual attraction. And which means the chemistry is working. So you don't want to burn each other before the real time. We call it like nibbling chicken. You imagine you're cooking chicken and you keep nibbling. You keep nibbling before it's ready.
Done.
By the time it's ready, you're
even
not looking
satisfied.
forward.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is why we really need to look forward to. Actually, I believe believers enjoy honeymoon most. You wait to unwrap your package during honeymoon. But those who have been nibbling a bit and a bit,
they don't look forward.
I know people who said honeymoon for what? You said, aren't you going for honeymoon? She said, why honeymoon for what? She's been at home. She's been coming, So once you serve that which you are supposed to reserve for that day, they start having those feelings. So why do you need to set boundaries, and what boundaries can you set? You are trying to protect each other. First of all, you need to discuss. The two of you discuss and say, I think this kind of touch may put me in a wrong, a wrong position. So please, let's stop here.
Exactly.
Can we hug? How long should the hug be? What kind of hug? Some say, can we kiss? Can we peck? If it is that deep sexual kiss, it can put you into trouble. So some of the boundaries you do, one is to avoid being together in very lonely places. You go at a man's home, you are there, it's late. He can even convince you, no, you sleep. You'll even sleep in the other bedroom. I won't even come. And by the time you realize, someone is on your door. So avoid those long, lonely places. Date in open places. We used to date in open gardens. Actually, today I passed Baha'i gardens, and those memories came afresh because they were free, kind of, and we did not have a lot of money to go to expensive dating places. So we'd hang out in Baha'i gardens, some church gardens. Look at some gardens that are open. There, you know that you won't be tempted beyond boundaries because even people are watching. So it's important to pray about it, discuss it, but also say, I think let's stop here. Let us not go beyond this. Otherwise, you can find that you have done what you've not planned to do. You know one thing? Christian couples often fail and even get pregnant because you have not planned to sin, in quotes. The other couples who are not born again, for them they have planned, we will go out, we will have, we will be intimate, we will have protection. But for you, you have not protected, you have not even planned it. That's why most of them, you find that they have got pregnant because they had not planned. So it's very important to know that such a thing can happen. So how do we protect each other? It glorifies God. It gives you dignity. Do you know your children starting to ask you, how comes I'm older than your anniversary,
I know.
And then now you start asking, and later when they are teens and you start telling them you need to do this, they say, but even you, mommy.
But even you, mommy, you didn't do it. Oh.
Yes.
So it really gives you a testimony and something you can pass on to your children.
Yes, just add on a few things that we did. We had mentors. Of course, every couple should have a mentor. And our mentors told us, gave us a rule that should be 1 arm distance take.
Oh.
In other words, that should be
the distance, 1 arm distance take.
Because you never know. Because we were told you are born again, but the body is not born again.
Exactly.
The body is not
saved. I think that is correct.
So 1 arm distance take. But also to add, there's something that we've learned from our son. Our son is getting married soon. Wow. He told he's been married for 27 years. Our son, he told us that the father-in-law to be called him and said that you must sign a commitment not to defile my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm accepting you to relate, to engage, to court my daughter, but you must sign here that you will not defile
my daughter.
Wow. That was the only commitment
that
the father gave our son. So I thought that was great. Many parents don't talk about it, but we need to prepare our children to say no.
Exactly.
But also, when someone says no, it's a no.
Take it as a no.
A no. Don't touch there. It's a no. I won't do that. So setting boundaries is very, very important, but we have to do it intentionally.
And on that thing, still with our son, he stays in the US. So he came with the fiancé to visit and know where she's going. So when he said we are coming together and we knew they haven't wedded, we said, so how will you handle? She said, no, book her in Isa's room, our daughter. So we booked her in Isa's room and we had to take them around Queen Elizabeth, Lekemburo, Bwenje to see places. And all the time she would share a room with our daughter. The boy would go around because he knows we are not yet allowed.
Yes.
So those boundaries. Imagine if you said, no, you can share a room. You are going out. After all, you are intending to marry. You know,
it's not.
You compromise. So we had to support them. But he's even the first one who said, you prepare for her a room with Isa. She'll be sharing with Isa as we come to visit. And that also helps to set the boundaries.
Wow. That was a nice one. Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yes,
I thought you were going on. But thank you very much. That was really, really nice. So do you think couples think how they will accomplish God's purpose with one they are considering to marry?
I think you know, when you're in love, when you're in love, you may not think about
exactly. I know.
You see, that reminds me about the vows that we make. And actually it should be, even like you should talk about this during premarital counseling, the vows that you're going to make. Many people think marriage is going to be just a bed of bliss.
Yes.
So we never plan that what if things go wrong here? What if there is sickness? What if there is poverty? What if we disagree? These days you hear people having irreconcilable differences. But that's a reason for divorce, by the way. That's a reason irreconcilable differences. So people need to be prepared that the marriage journey can be a rough one. It can be a journey without children. You know, we talked about God's purpose of marriage. A godly heritage is one of them. But you might go into that. It might be a life of poverty, sickness. So when people are getting married, many times they don't think about that. You've had young girls making a joke. I say, for richer, for richer.
Yeah.
They don't understand the other. Yes?
For richer, for richer.
So, what does that mean when life is hard?
Exactly.
Are you prepared for that? What does it mean when you marry someone and she or he falls sick? And he is not able to meet all the needs. What happens if you marry a man who was employed? And he loses
Good
a job?
questions there. What happens?
Yes. And actually, he fails to find a job. You're paying rent, you're paying tuition for the children, you're doing all that. What happens? So marriage can be a bliss, but also it can have challenges. And we need to be prepared to know that, yes, as you start a marriage, it can have its own challenges. Actually, you can also, I talked about expectations. You must have expectations. And normal expectations will come from the way you are raised. You saw your mother, when your father comes, knocks at the door, get a glass of juice, give a hug, darling, how was your day? Remove socks, do all that. And maybe you came having all those expectations. And then you marry a girl. The guy is raised knowing that when there's fridge, it is when there's juice, it's in the fridge. You open the fridge, you serve yourself.
You serve yourself, exactly.
And then,
those differences.
when she begins practicing what she saw at home, you realize that my expectation is not right. That's when you begin hearing men saying that she doesn't respect me, she doesn't love me, and the verse can also be true. So all these are part and parcel of the package. We should be prepared that it's a journey. It has ups and downs, there are joys, but there are also sad moments. But we have to know that, yes, I will love her. Even this, I'll love Julian. Even when my expectations are not met, I will love her, I'll pray for her. And I actually encourage people to read books. There are many books about marriage. You know, the young people don't want to read. But there are books like The Art of Marriage, Temperaments. We also talk about temperaments, for example. You know, we are different. I hope you know temperaments. Being a choleric, being sanguine. Those are different things. They are temperaments that conflict. So what if you have different temperaments and you realize you're conflicting, you're not agreeing, or you have a husband who is not taking a position of a leader? He doesn't read prayer. He doesn't plan to build a house. He doesn't plan, when I'm pregnant, to save money for hospital. For him, it doesn't. So you must understand the temperament of your spouse. And actually, we always encourage that you should do a temperament test. Not only a temperament, but also you've heard about the 5 love languages. All these books, people need to read them.
I know.
What speaks love to me? One of the things that speaks love to me, or to her, let me say to her, is affection.
Wow.
Tender love and care.
Oh, Julian, you don't like gifts, eh?
Not as much as the TLC.
But to me, gifts work to some extent, but also word of affirmation.
Wow.
But I also not mind receiving a gift, but I also mind the way the gift is wrapped. You see? So you must understand what speaks love to your spouse. You know the temperament, but you know the love language. Because you could be missing the point, you are hitting a wrong point because you've not learned and understood your spouse.
Exactly.
So we need to do all this in this time of engagement, of preparation. So that by the time you get married, you know the temperament, you know the love language, you know the history, you know the challenges of your husband or wife, so as to start the journey well.
Wow, thank you. Just a quick one here. We've had people say that we just dated for 2 months, 1 month, and then we got married. But from your presentation, I feel like that takes a long time for you to be able to understand yourselves deeply, know the temperaments, know the love languages. It might not be a one-day thing. So do you think it's right for people to date for a month or 2 and then they are married?
I think you've put it well, that you really need time to understand each other. There is no formula to say that this is the perfect time, but you need to ask yourselves, okay, do we think we know each other well? Are we emotionally ready? Have I learned enough that I need to know about my responsibilities as a spouse or my role within this marriage? So you really need time to understand each other. And you know, when you are just courting and meeting each other through dating, then you engage, you kind of put on your best. Everyone brings out their best, the best smile. You're always smiling.
That's actually,
they may never even know that you can get angry.
That's actually what I wanted to also, touch about a bit. Like someone can pretend. In those days, they know that now this one is trying to land me somewhere. Somehow they pretend. And it's actually a bit of a challenge. You know, someone pretends they are good, they are gentle, they are like that. And when you get married, the opposite of what you saw. So how can you help someone?
Yes, and it may not even be like I say I'm pretending per se, but I'm putting my best to this person I'm attracted to. I want to show them the best. But then later, after wedding, now kind of reality sets in. She says that I can wake up, maybe I'm not so smiling as I used to, I'm not as happy. She's like, really? Is this the woman who was always smiling, you know? So the reality kind of checks in. That's why they say the first 5 months of marriage are usually very sensitive, because most marriages break. People think, I think I got a wrong deal. There is someone who said, what? Is it Vanfera? Or it's like
I got a like duplicate from China.
Like you got a dupe. Yet this is now the real person. Yes. And the reality has set in.
I know.
Yes.
There's pretending, but there's also the other side of the coin, where people say, I will change him. You've heard about it?
Yes.
I will control her. Yeah, they tell you, oh, the man is wayward. Oh, she's like this.
Yes, wandering eyes.
Yeah. But then you say, I'll control him. But then
Mr. TDH.
It's very difficult to control him or her. It is only Christ that
exactly.
can change someone. So it is very wrong for young people to say, I'll control him, I'll change, I'll tame him, I'll make sure he stops drinking, I'll make sure he stops smoking, I'll make sure that he stops this habit of womanizing. He will not. There are things that should be handled before.
And when young people should know that if your spouse has this spouse, most likely there'll be 10 times worse in marriage. If he's slapping you during courtship, you can be sure that that is his way of disciplining you.
I know, that's
if he's cheating during courtship, I even know some who cheat during do they call it kasiki? But just a day before wedding, then those are clear danger signs that he may be worse. And if he has not allowed Christ to change him, do you think really you can do more work than what Christ can do in his life? So those are the things we need to weigh as we think about these things.
Wow, thank you very much, Julian. You always like to corner yourself there. So now, what are the danger signs during courtship?
Okay, good. That is one of them. We had, when we were at the university, a girl was dating a certain boy and decided to go for a social function. And the boy came and realized that she had gone without informing him. Immediately he slapped her.
Jesus.
We said, okay,
Now
is this what you're ready to take? But for her, she was like, hey, that's how men are. You know, there are people who want to accept that is how men are. That's how
He
they
will
treat
change
wives.
with time.
Maybe that's what she saw in her home. But for us, it was a danger sign. So there are those dangers. If someone has very bad anger outbursts, they cannot control their anger. Yes, just ask yourself, am I ready for this? Emotionally, psychologically. We often want to overlook things, but usually some things pop up. You see money lenders at his door all the time, and you don't even know what he's using the money for. That shows you financial management or integrity issues. Because he borrowed and he did not pay. That most likely he'll carry, you are going to inherit them. Because when they fail to get him, it's you, the wife, they'll come for you and start saying, okay, pay our money. So there are some of those danger signs you see, and you want to think twice and say, okay, am I ready for this?
Exactly.
A lot of dishonesty, maybe someone is not truthful at all. You discover he covers with another lie. Later you discover it's another lie, you know. There are some danger signs that you need to know, okay, am I ready for this? Can I take this? So that you know, okay, by the way, at times people come for premarital counseling and we want to say, maybe do you want to give it some time? Pray about it, discuss more. And that's the use of courtship and premarital counseling. Don't fear to postpone. Give it time. Pray about it. Because at times you think you are already hooked, and it's worse for those who are already sleeping together. Maybe you're already pregnant, or you're already staying with him. You're like, now, how will they see me going? That's why it's important to first have this time, and then decide, yes, I think I'm ready to take him as a package. As he is, don't take him thinking, I'll take him and then I screw him. Then I tell him, no, I can take him as he is with his baggage or her baggage, and then you move on.
Wow.
And God gives you the grace. But I just wanted to add one more thing, overemphasis on the physical activity. What do I mean? Someone who wants always to go to bed with you. That's a danger sign. For you, he's looking at you as a tool. Not as a wife to him. You have to be careful. But if you give in and then he dumps you, so you are used here, another one comes
and uses you again.
So you should
just stay.
You should not be a tool. You're precious. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. The Lord, and you are made. The Bible says you are
fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of the Lord.
You are not just for anybody. So I always tell my daughters, our daughters again, I love you. You are special. You are beautiful. So that a man doesn't come and he lies them that you're beautiful. She will know that Dad has already told me.
Yeah, this is not the first time I'm hearing this.
You must measure up.
I know.
So you should not just take any crap. You are not a duplicate. You are the original person made in the image of God.
Yeah.
And another quick danger sign is like substance abuse. Substance abuse. There are those who drink and they can't even remember where they have slept, or they are on drugs. So if you see those, usually the alcoholism doesn't stop there. So you also need to weigh, okay, should we maybe try rehabilitation first, you know? So at times a bigger problem crops up later on in marriage. But you saw it in courtship a bit, he was drinking too much, but you thought maybe he's bored or something, you know, you underlook it.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing. Now, Moses, you're the one who touched a little bit of this. Why is there a lot of pressure for people to sleep around before marriage?
I want to say that the body demands that. You're growing. First of all, I said something attracted you. There's that chemistry that attracts you. But by the way, I don't know whether it's researched, but when we are doing premarital counseling, we also say that's the first number. That's number one need for men. Right? So, that need, it needs to be met at a particular time. You are not a dog. You are not an animal. There has to be self-control.
Wow.
But you'll find that, especially those who do know Christ, there is a group of young people who say, I would first test, what if she doesn't conceive? You know, there are people who want to first make sure that she has conceived.
They have to test
Yes.
Some people say, I want to see where my cows are going.
Yes, and I get mad when someone wants to test my daughter.
I know.
Yeah, I get mad at it.
Very.
Yes, because I didn't test. So why do you want to test my daughter? But also, those who do not have a personal relationship with Christ. It is to whom it may concern. But when you've done premarital counseling, you will know that actually testing, eating food before the actual time brings cracks in your marriage. It removes trust. If you're able to do it then, you can do it another time. You can do it with someone when you travel. So it takes away the trust and it doesn't please God. I think that's majorly. So people who are not born again, who don't have self-control, who are not able to tame their bodies, they are pushed to do that. But also, it's not one-sided. The lady also can push for that. There are also ladies who say, I will push for it so that I get pregnant and I hook him. Have you heard about that?
Fire.
I must have him. So it is very bad. I think we are pushed by that. Just that I want to test. I want to go for this, which is very ungodly.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. Our time is fast spent, but Julian, this is a quick one for you. Is it important to do some medical tests before marriage? If yes, how important is it?
Yes, it is. There are some tests that you really need to do. For instance, we encourage people to take an HIV test together, not someone to bring results. I tested. Take a test, go through it together, counseling. And we are not saying if results are maybe positive or what you call off, but we are saying know your status, know what you are going into. Like I said, are you ready to take on this? Will you stand this? Or once you discover that maybe one of your spouse is positive and you're negative, then it will be a big issue. Then there are some other tests that are also essential, like sickle cell tests. There are some people who are sicklers and they have had challenges. They produce children, they die. They die. Of course, when you're in the whirlwind of love, you think, no, we can overlook. But later when you start bearing 4 children and you discover it's just because, of this thing, then later you think, maybe we should have thought twice about it. But so you need to know, or you need to know how to handle it. Some of those medical conditions, at times there is a solution, or they advise you on ABC. There are certain like blood groups, by the way, like O negative, they tell you, yes, you need to know this so that in case you conceive, you know what to do, so that you know, yes, I'm ready for this.
Wow, thank you very much. Your parting shots, and then we sign out. Bless you.
Thank you very much. I thank God for this time.
Yes.
And I thank God that I was counseled. When you are counseled, you are able to prepare for the journey. When you prepare for the journey, you'll be able to stand your vows for better,
For worse,
for richer,
for poorer,
until
death do us part.
I encourage everyone that is going to start this journey of marriage, before you say you do, think about premarital counseling and prepare wisely. God bless you.
Thank you. Julian, your parting shot?
Yes, thank you. Marriage is a very beautiful journey. Of course, the beauty is made by the two of you. So it's very important that as you think about it, as you look forward, do not only look for the right person, but be the right person. Be the right person so that you're able to make an excellent spouse within this marriage. And of course, that will encourage you to look for a lot of information. Please read as much as possible, attend seminars as much as possible that teach you about relating, about marriage, so that you bring in the best into the marriage And really, a beautiful marriage, I can say, is like heaven on earth. It is wonderful.
Wow.
But you need to know that you're not marrying an angel, two sinners. You are two sinners coming together, so that you know, if he was perfect, perhaps he would have married an angel from heaven, but not me, a human being. So that you know, yes, I'm marrying a human being, so how can we make the best out of it? That calls for counseling, that calls for determination to, one, improve yourself, but as you enter marriage, continually work at making it better, learning what to put in to get the best out of this lifetime partner. You don't want to be sad for a long time.
Forever is a long time.
You want to enjoy your time together.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Moses and Julian. I must say it's been a great joy, a great pleasure to have you here. We have learned a lot from you, and may the good Lord bless you. And to you, our viewers, Proverbs chapter 24, verse 27 says, prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. It is important to prepare. Remember, we were talking about before you say I do. Thank you very much for loving us and keeping it Church of Uganda Family TV. My name is Clare, Bwenje, your favorite host. Never forget that. I love you so much. It is a bye-bye, and see you again next time. We love you.